What's going on, everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thanks for dropping by for yet another chess video. I'm very excited for this particular video because I will have the opportunity to share with you guys the premium wooden chess pieces for the Chessnut Pro. This particular chess set, or these pieces, I've been waiting to share with you guys for quite some time, considering there's other YouTubers out there that have already reviewed this particular chess set, and you guys may already have seen these particular pieces. But not on my channel, because on my channel you got a chance to see recently the Chessnut Pro updated chess pieces. The link to that particular video I will leave you guys in the description below. So if you're interested in going to see these chess pieces in a little more detail, you'll get a chance to do that. Now, backtrack maybe about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, I don't know, time does fly for me. I originally reviewed the Chessnut Pro chessboard. Now, a lot of people at the time were really excited about this particular product because the Chessnut Pro effectively has taken most of the features that we've come to love from the Chessnut Air and has given it to us in a tournament size classic board with a classic feel and classic chess pieces. And at the time when I originally reviewed this board, to be honest with you, I felt like this board has pretty much completely met all my needs and all my expectations out of what I felt at the time a chessboard should be, as far as all the things that I was looking, the LED lights, the Bluetooth connectivity, the USB connectivity, all the software integration, including Fritz, being able to play online on chess.com, Lichess. I mean, just about everything that at the time I was looking out of an electronic chessboard, I've been able to receive both in the Chessnut Air and now in the Chessnut Pro, which was really exciting. The chess pieces were a lot larger, they were wooden. You had that totally sort of classic wooden chess playing feel. And like I said, I couldn't be happier. However, at the time when I did this video, there were some people commenting saying, well, the pieces might be a little too simplistic or a little bit too light. And they wanted to see pieces that were going to be a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit more refined. So when they unveiled this sort of updated chess pieces for the Chessnut Pro, some of those considerations have been met. The pieces were a little bit heavier, a little bit more refined. But now finally, we get a chance to see what a premium wooden chess set would look like on such a nice board. I have a chance to compare the premium chess pieces in this particular set, both to the updated version and also to the original chess pieces, and we'll get a chance to kind of take a look at the differences in height, take a look at the differences in weight, some of the important considerations, stability, and hopefully this video will serve as sort of somewhat of a practical, helpful video for some people out there that may have already seen these premium wooden chess pieces for sale and were wondering if maybe they would like to acquire these wooden chess pieces for the Chessnut Pro, or if there's people out there that are maybe looking at purchasing the Chessnut Pro and are looking to get something with sort of a premium feel to them, whether or not purchasing the premium chess pieces here makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom the camera in closer and we'll take a look. I'll set these pieces up. I'll set them next to the original chess pieces and we'll kind of take a look and see what the difference is all about. The box itself for the premium wooden chess pieces, as you see right over here, is actually a bit larger than the updated chess pieces by about this much, as you can see. So if we set it side by side to the original box was a bit smaller. So we'll go ahead and open this up. It has a nice feel. You can practically store the pieces inside of this box because the box is made in such a way that if you don't really have a place to store these chess pieces, you can effectively store them here and they'll be protected thanks for all this nice premium foam here. The chess pieces will be nicely protected in this particular box if you choose to keep these chess pieces here in this box. So that way, if, you know, whenever you're not playing, you can always keep them here. So, as you can see, right off the bat, we got all the pieces. We got two queens for each side, obviously. Got the light side and the dark side. We'll take a look up close. Hopefully you guys are able to see. Really nicely packaged chess set. Very, very nice. It's really quite nice, large, and very detailed chess set. The very first thing that I've noticed when I put the pieces on the board is the refinement of the wood itself. If we look up close, it might be a little bit hard for me to show you guys, but like the grain in these chess pieces is nicely visible. They're very well polished. So the wood itself, compared to like the standard Chessnut Pro chess pieces, the wood here is definitely more refined and more polished, both in the boxwood as well as the I believe this might be the golden rosewood. As you can see, if we look up close, definitely a nice visible grain in the wood that makes these chess pieces kind of less homogeneous and more sort of more varied, more unique. So definitely more time, more detail in these chess pieces. They look larger, they feel heavier, they look and feel more stable on the board. They also, I feel like, fit a little bit better. If you look at the squares, even the pawns occupy a pretty large portion of each individual square, which makes them a little bit more stable, a little bit easier to handle overall. So a very nice chess pieces for this particular board. I really like to see that when you look at the dark pieces, that there's this variability in shade. It just makes it just more pleasing to look at, in my opinion. If you look at the right side, you can see the wood that's been used for the original chess pieces is going to be a little bit lighter. You can see definitely there's a lot more kind of a nice classic feel. I feel like, in my opinion, now everybody's may have different opinion, but the wood that's been used for the premium chess pieces definitely looks a lot more refined, a lot more grain visibility, and just looks, I don't know, it just looks more premium, looks more prestige. You can see that the rooks on the right side is going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter than the rook for the premium chess pieces. The knights, of course, are going to be tremendously different. The bishop of the premium chess set that you see, and we'll take a look at these pieces up close for those that are interested, but the bishop's a little bit taller and has a wider cut for the premium chess pieces, and also the king stands a lot taller. As far as the base width, also the premium chess pieces are going to be substantially more broad and sit on the squares a lot more, as you can see, a lot more width to the bases than the standard. Similarly for the pawns, as you see here, pawns here do sit a little bit lower than the premium ones. The premium ones are definitely larger, more broad. More of what we would expect for pieces to be maybe for a large chessboard like this, especially for those people out there that are really wanting to get that nice classical feel out of their chess set. As far as the felt on the bottom, the original and the updated Chessnut Pro chess pieces had this sort of a orange like felt here, and then the premium wooden chess pieces have a black felt. Also, you see that the felt here on the premium chess pieces doesn't extend all the way out to the periphery of the chess piece, but that's because when we turn over just the design of the bottom here with that kind of beveling upwards, we see this on some of the more luxury chess pieces out there. They wouldn't necessarily, just doesn't make sense practically to extend the felt all the way up to the periphery. It would be visible if you were playing chess because of the design of the bottom of the piece. As you see here up close, compared to the original king that came with the Chessnut Pro, there's going to be definitely a lot more refinement to the premium chess set. Definitely makes it a little more elaborate. Starting off with the finials, you see the finial to the original chess set here was definitely very kind of broad. And then the refined king that you see right over here had some refinements that kind of gave a little more detail to the finial, as you can see here, but definitely a lot more detail in this king here. I'm very pleased with this particular chess set, but I'm also very pleased, even starting from like just the overall color. I really like how it has this sort of a different wood finish for a lot of people that really like that little bit of extra detail that you notice in the wood. It just kind of makes it a lot more pleasing to look at, in my opinion. The top portion here, just like the older one, has this sort of a sharp delineation, and then it kind of goes down and pretty much has very similar details as far as the rings. We have the one little tiny ring that kind of is very subtle, then followed by 2 rings here in sequential order, and then we have the same drop kind of that we see here, just a little bit more subtle. And then we go into a wider base, a much wider base than we see with both of the kings, and then we have the very bottom portion actually is a little bit different. So definitely bigger, more stable. I like it very, very much so. 33 grams, 32 grams, and then 41 grams. So a little bit heavier. Here's the light king up close. Like I said, very nicely done chess set. It looks really elaborate, and as you can see, very well polished. The wood itself just like stands out, and it looks really nice, especially when you have direct sunlight, when you have like when you're playing outside. It'll look really, really nice. A nicely finished chess set overall. Here we see the differences in the queens. The premium chess pieces are going to be a little bit taller. You can see right over here. There, once again, the bases are a little bit more broad. The top portion is a little bit more detailed. If we see the original queen had this sort of a, just kind of a very subtle top with the spikes of the crown being kind of very, very minimal, very subtle. Then we had the refined queen here with the spikes being a little bit more sharp, but not too much, and the top was a little bit more rounded. And then finally the premium queens were a little more refined on the top here. Definitely looks really nice. If we compare the refinement of this one to this, we could see that there's definitely more detail. More detail in the spikes, more detail in the top. So yeah, very, very nice, stable queens. Now as far as the weight of these, the original queen weighed at 26 grams, the updated queen weighed at 27, and then the premium chess pieces weighed at 37. So 27 to 37, like a 10 gram jump makes these a little bit more stable overall. As far as the bishops, they've gone through sort of some changes, as you will see. The original bishop that came with the board had this sort of a symmetrical teardrop shape of the top here with this sort of a nice even cut. Then they tried to do something different, a little bit different in the updated chess pieces. They had this top where the top portion was a little bit more flat, and then it kind of had, as you see here, it kind of had this interesting design to where it started off almost like a Hershey's Kisses shape, to where the top portion was a little bit maybe longer than here, and making it less symmetrical and more like bottom heavy. And then the cut was similarly made, but a little bit wider than the original one. And then in the premium one, they've kind of gone away and did a little bit different as far as the shape of them. The top portion here actually extends further down, kind of like we've seen with some of the other chess pieces that I've reviewed, pushing this part here effectively more towards the middle, but also kind of makes it aesthetically a really nice looking bishop. They extended the cut and made it more of like the classical feel cut than just like a little tiny cut that we see here, and it extends downward. And if we look up close, they even had these like little rounded edges here that they created. I think after the fact they created these little rounded edges, but still looks really nice as far as the top of the bishop. I always like when it has like a more broad cut like this, and they've included cutting the top portion as well. Now I know some people, they're very particular when it comes to the bishop, especially like the chess collectors, that some like this part being cut, some don't. I can say that if the cut extends the way that it does, it's hard to not cut through the top. But I've actually seen some bishops where the cut was just where it is, but the top extended all the way without being cut, and it does kind of look like they forgot to cut the top. But I like this shape overall. I like it compared to the original one. I really like it. I like these type of bishops for their like classical feel more so than some of the modern bishops with like the really narrow cut. So yeah, as far as the weight of them, the original bishop weighed in at 16 grams. The updated version weighed in at 24 grams, and the premium one weighs in at 29 grams. So not a whole lot of difference between the updated and the premium, but definitely a lot of difference between the original and the premium. So 29 grams is definitely a reasonable weight for a bishop. As far as the knight goes, I know a lot of people are very, very particular about their knights. And in fact, a lot of people make their purchasing determinations of their entire chess set just based on the look and the feel of the knight. And I don't blame them, because the knights are usually the most intricate chess pieces in the whole chess set. And I believe at some point someone said that, like, when you're paying for a chess set, that you're paying half of the price for the chess set for just the 4 knights, just because it does take longer to make these. These are usually the most detailed chess pieces of like the entire chess set. And we see here that we are getting much more improvement out of the knights compared to the original knights. If we look at the original, the very original here, we had just sort of this blunt kind of look. And we did have some details. We had the eye and these little cuts on the side, the cuts on the face and the front here. We had a little mane in the back with the ears and everything. So it's not like we were missing details, but some people felt like the knight could have used some improvement even at the time of the first video. So now we have improvement. Yeah, with the updated knight, we didn't see much of an update, but we did see a little bit of detail upgrade. Sort of the face became more like, it kind of narrowed here, and then it became a little bit rounded here with a little bit more details for the face and overall shape, but not by tremendously. Now, of course, we jump into the premium knights and we see just how much detail has been included in these particular knights. Just these remind me of the Turin chess set that I have from House of Staunton. The Turin chess set is one of my more elaborate chess sets, and I believe at the time when I purchased it, it retailed for about $600. I'm not really sure how much it is now, but definitely as far as the details of the knight, as you could probably tell, we're getting a lot more for our money than we did with the original chess pieces. We see immediately that height-wise and width-wise, these knights are going to be definitely more larger than the original. More detail, starting from the very top. The ears are a lot more refined. We have detail in the ears as well, as you can see here. The mane goes through the top here, and then it has not only the individual cuts, as you see the details. Let me show you up close. We got the individual cuts here, but then the cuts in between. And like I said, quite a bit of detail within the knights, even down to the very bottom right here. So the manes had a lot of detail in it, the ears. Then we have the shape of this sort of a Staunton knight. Definitely has that classic feel to it. The angulation of the head of the knights, right about where we would expect it out of a Staunton-like knight. It's not completely horizontal. It's got kind of a, like if we set it down, it's got somewhat of an angulation, but not by much. And then when we kind of extend down to the very, you got the 2 nostrils right over here. Really nice detail. The teeth, the open mouth, quite a bit to look at. Then coming from the mouth, we've got nice shapes both on the sides here. We've got some additional details on the top. We've got the eyes that are actually now protruding out a little bit, as opposed to
like the original one, they were just sort of cut into the wood. So we have quite a lot of detail. And then moving down, we have some additional little cuts right where the neck is, kind of emphasizing the separation between the head and the body. And then the very front part has these extra details here. It's just for people that are chess collectors and really take the time to enjoy this, they would be really happy with a knight that has a lot more details like this. Very, very nice. Very nice knight. So definitely more robust, definitely more pleasing to look at, more interesting to play. As far as the weight goes, the original knight weighed at 27 grams. The refined knight weighed at 29 grams, and then the premium knight weighs at 40 grams. So definitely, like I said, about a 10 or 11 gram difference between the premium pieces and the original ones. So makes it more stable, larger, and overall, just like I said, for some people that are really looking for that classical feel, they'd be very pleased with these knights. Now moving on to the rooks, we can definitely see also that the rooks have taken quite a bit of a change and have morphed into more classical looking rooks. We started with this rook here at the very beginning with the top portion being somewhat shallow-ish. And then we had sort of a large top here, and then it just kind of went into the base. Then we had the refined or the updated chess pieces, and the top became a little bit deeper here with regards to the cuts were a little bit more wide, and the top portion itself kind of started to take on a slightly different look compared to the original. But the bottom portion was somewhat similar. Now we are jumping into the premium chess pieces that you see right over here. You definitely see that there's going to be a lot of change as far as the shape of the chess pieces themselves. The top portion became somewhat more narrow. That kind of creates a different distribution of the overall balance of the piece, as you see here, and kind of makes it look more or less like the original knights, or at least the knights that we come to see more Staunton design. The top portion of them is going to be not as narrow as the original one, but not as deep as the updated one, kind of somewhat in between, the cuts being somewhat wide, but kind of gives it a very proportionate feel to them. As far as the weight of these knights, the original knight weighed in at 19 grams, and then the updated one was a little bit heavier at 25 grams, and then the premium one was at 31 grams. So although not a whole lot of difference, definitely those extra grams will help to make these pieces feel a little bit more stable overall and a little bit more sort of balanced. Given that half of the pieces on your board will be pawns, it does make sense that they're going to put a little bit more detail into making sure that the pawns are going to be the right size for the board. And we see that compared to the original pawn that came with the Chessnut Pro, even the updated one was a little bit taller here, but we definitely see a much of an upgrade to the premium wooden chess pieces here. That the pawns are going to be a lot bigger, a lot taller, with more broad base here. I felt like even the original ones were stable because overall the bottom portion was nice and flat, and so these pieces I come to enjoy playing with. However, compare the original ones to the updated to now the premium one, we can see that a lot more people are probably going to be more likely to enjoy playing these more than maybe these, just because the overall size, it just makes it easier to handle, bigger pawns, more stable, and just kind of nice looking overall. I really like it. You can see that the dark pawn here does look darker than the original pawn, and has kind of a little bit more detail here. If we compare the weight of these pawns, the original pawn weighed in at 11 grams. The refined one was at 13 grams. And the premium one was at 18 grams. So not tremendously heavier, but still, you know, quite a bit heavier. Most of the pawns we've seen, when you start getting into this sort of shape and size, 25 grams most of the time was kind of the limit to the weight of the pawns. But so we're kind of reaching up into that zone where
where you're getting a nice, heavy, stable pawn. As far as the connectivity of the chess set, we're pretty much getting about the same thing that we got with the other Chessnut Pro chess pieces. Everything works pretty quickly. As you can see over here, I'm playing against the computer, and for the most part, I'm not really seeing any issues or problems. The LED lights turn on the way they should, and things work really fast. This chess set's really nice. I really like this particular chess set. For the pawns feel a lot bigger, a lot more stable in my opinion. And the pieces being larger and more heavier kind of makes it easier for you to be able to grab the pieces. Overall, making a really nice, pleasant chess set to play on. The premium chess pieces do feel a lot more smooth in hand. They feel heavier a little bit when you pick them up. The pawns being larger, it's easier to more quickly pick them up, and kind of making this chess set more apt to more different playing styles. Feel like a little bit bigger, more stable, easier to play. I didn't really have any issues with the original chess pieces, but I can see that there's definitely an improvement not only in the aesthetics of the premium chess pieces, but also the way it feels and handles overall. I would definitely recommend considering purchasing the premium chess pieces for those people that have already purchased the Chessnut Pro chessboard and maybe are looking to get a little bit more of a premium feel out of their game. I feel like maybe worthwhile considering the premium chess pieces. Also for people out there that are maybe looking to possibly purchase a tournament-sized electronic chessboard with all the different features that might be appealing to a lot of people out there, like playing online or playing against the computer. With the LED lights, making it a lot easier for you to see what's going on compared to maybe some of the DGT boards. But overall, like I said, it's a really nice combination, and I feel like now that I have a chance to own this particular chess set, I'm very pleased with the overall feel and look of these particular chess pieces. Hopefully you guys were able to find this video somewhat informative, interesting. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you think about these chess pieces, what you think about the improvement on the chestnut part as far as making this chess set feel more premium. And I'll be looking forward to hearing from you guys. Also, thank you for taking the time to watch this video all the way to the end. If you are still watching this video, I just wanted to let you guys know that in my next video, I'll be reviewing the this little guy here, the Chess Genius Pro from Millennium. So really quite a popular product among a lot of people. I've had a lot of inquiries for, this is just a box. So, yep. I've already opened it up and tested it out. Really quite a nice little chess set for, I've had a lot of inquiries about this particular chess set. So yeah, be sure to stick around, and that's gonna be my next video, okay? Hopefully everybody stay safe, enjoy playing chess, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.